The film begins with a serene yet eerie sequence of a fisherman named Syracuse pulling his net from the depths of the water. As he hauls it onto his boat, his routine is shattered by an astonishing sight: a woman's lifeless form tangled in the mesh. Panic and urgency take over as he rushes to free her from the net. Laying her on the deck, Syracuse performs mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. After a tense moment, the woman gasps for air, coughing up water, her chest heaving as life returns to her. Syracuse wraps her in a blanket, his relief mixed with confusion as she struggles to comprehend his surroundings. He assures her that she's alive, but she shakes her head, whispering she thought she was dead. When he suggests a hospital, she refuses, fear flashing across her face. As a boat passes by, she ducks, hiding, leaving Syracuse curious about her fear of being seen. When he asks her name, she admits she doesn't remember, thinking she may have a head injury. He introduces himself, explaining the nickname Circus. Wanting to respect her need for privacy, he takes her to an old, secluded house that once belonged to his mother. He offers her lunch, then prepares to leave. Surprised, she nods calmly, seeming at ease now. Syracuse watches her settle into the house's quiet, uncertain of the mystery unfolding before him. Syracuse picks up Annie for a dialysis and casually asks if anything unusual has happened, revealing his hope for something extraordinary. During treatment, Annie requests a story, and he tells her about a fisherman who rescues a mysterious woman from the sea. Annie speculates if she's a selkie or mermaid. Syracuse admits he's unsure. Later, Syracuse surprises Annie with an automatic wheelchair, giving her more freedom. At home, his ex-wife mentions Annie's urgent need for a kidney transplant. Back at the house, Syracuse finds the mysterious woman still there, playfully teasing him for doubting her existence. She joins him on a fishing trip. Though hesitant at first, he allows her on board. She introduces herself as Ondine, a woman of the sea. While fishing, Ondine hums a strange melody, and Syracuse's lobster cage fills. Testing it, he discovers her song seems to summon the catch. Syracuse teaches Ondine to tie the lobster's claws, laughing at her surprise over the extraordinary catch. He suggests selling them in town, offering her a share for her singing. She hesitates, wanting to remain unseen, but agrees because he's the only one she trusts to see her. In town, Syracuse sells the lobsters and buys Ondine a dress, slipping in underwear as well. Later, he tells Annie a story about a sea woman whose song lures lobsters. Annie, intrigued, suggests the woman might be a selkie. When she asks who the fisherman is, Syracuse admits it's him, but insists he made it up. Doubtful, Annie secretly follows him. At home, Syracuse finds Ondine trying on his late mother's shoes. He gives her the dress, and she kisses him in gratitude. When he asks how long she'll stay, she replied that it depends on him. Touched, he says that she can stay forever. Watching from a distance, Annie begins researching selkies, determined to uncover the truth. Syracuse confesses at church, sharing his sobriety and desire for custody of Annie despite his wife's drinking. He mentions stealing underwear for someone he's helping, but keeps Ondine's secret. The priest advises counseling and asks for updates. At home, Ondine avoids wearing underwear. While swimming, Annie spots her and confronts her, claiming she's a selkie, like in her dad's story. Surprised, Ondine learns Annie is Syracuse's daughter. Annie asks if she can heal her kidney failure, explaining selkie myths about shedding coats and tears to find happiness with humans. As Annie leaves, Ondine kisses her goodbye. Annie notices Ondine's wet cheek and teases that it's one of her 7 tears. Syracuse visits the library only to find Annie has borrowed every book on selkies. Back at the house, he invites Ondine to go fishing, and she agrees, but only if he keeps her secret. Syracuse promises. While fishing, a patrol boat approaches, and Ondine hides. As she steers the boat with her feet and sings, Syracuse watches in awe as his net fills with salmon, an unexpected catch. The patrol boards to check, but finding nothing illegal, they comment on the unusual presence of a woman. After they leave, Ondine realizes her secret is out. In town, her beauty attracts attention. Syracuse shops with her while curious onlookers watch. Later, Annie excitedly links Ondine to Seal Rock, convinced she's a selkie. Ondine teaches Annie to swim and, while in the water, spots something beneath the surface. She pulls a mysterious bundle from the sea, which Annie guesses is her seal coat. Ondine agrees, and together they bury it, with Annie promising to keep its location a secret. Ondine, Annie, and Syracuse are by the sea, Annie shares her selkie theories, explaining that they can live on land for 7 years unless claimed by a selkie husband and granted wishes. Ondine brushes it off, asking her to stop. Meanwhile, a dark-haired man arrives in town searching for someone. On the boat, Annie jumps into the water to test Ondine. Without hesitation, Ondine dives in to save her, strengthening Annie's belief in the selkie myth. Later, Syracuse takes Annie home. Her mother mentions the strange man asking about Ondine, but using a different name. That night, Ondine asks Syracuse about his Circus the Clown nickname. He opens up about his past, his struggle to care for Annie, and his decision to quit drinking. Touched, Ondine grows closer to him, and they share a tender, intimate moment. The next day, Syracuse confesses his fears to the priest, admitting that Ondine gives him hope, but worries that it might end in heartbreak. Outside, the dark-haired man confronts him, asking what name he's given the woman from the sea. Syracuse avoids answering and walks away. At the house, Ondine spots headlights and realizes the man is searching for her. Panicked, she flees and hides. Meanwhile, Syracuse takes Annie home after dialysis, finding the house locked. With no choice, he leaves her with her mother, who's drinking at a bar. Returning home, Syracuse discovers the house ransacked. Alarmed, he searches and finds Ondine hiding. She reveals her fear that the man is her selkie husband and comes to claim her. When Syracuse asks why she can't refuse him, she says it's more complicated than that. Half-joking, Syracuse suggests that she use her selkie powers to wish him away. Instead, Ondine wishes for Annie to recover. Touched, Syracuse quietly wishes for Ondine to stay with him forever. Annie's mother, drunk behind the wheel, crashes her car into another vehicle, the dark-haired man's. Her boyfriend, Alex, is thrown through the windshield and dies instantly. Syracuse and Ondine arrive, with Syracuse rushing to Annie's side. At the hospital, doctors reveal Alex was an organ donor and a rare tissue match for Annie, making a life-saving transplant possible. As Annie recovers, Ondine crosses paths with the dark-haired man, their tense exchange hinting at a shared criminal past. At Alex's funeral, Syracuse supports his ex-wife, now in a wheelchair. During the wake, she pushes him to drink in Alex's honor. Despite his sobriety, Syracuse caves and drinks heavily. She also suggests that Annie live with him during her recovery, but only if he sends Ondine away, warning that her presence brings misfortune. Drunk and distraught, Syracuse takes Ondine to Seal Rock. Pretending kindness, he tells her to wait while he retrieves something from the boat. Instead, he prepares to leave her behind. Ondine begs to say goodbye to Annie, but Syracuse insists they don't belong together, abandoning her as she sings to the seals. The following day, Syracuse wakes up in a tree, held down by the priest who tells him he clings to misery because it's easier than embracing joy, which takes effort. Syracuse picks Annie up from the hospital. When she asks about Ondine, he claims her selkie husband took her. Annie, however, insists Ondine will return, hinting that something of hers remains. When Syracuse presses, she says nothing more. Later, as Annie watches TV, a concert comes on, and Syracuse hears a familiar tune. It's a song Ondine sang. Realizing it's not mythical but real, he rushes to find her. At Seal Rock, he confronts her, and he reveals the truth. She's Joanna, a Romanian drug mule who fled into the sea to escape Vladik after the Irish Coast Guard caught her smuggling. Syracuse realizes he saved her life that day. Joanna and Syracuse return home to find Vladik and an accomplice waiting, threatening Annie and Syracuse unless Joanna reveals the drug's location. Joanna leads them to the burial spot, only to find the drugs missing. Annie confesses she moved Joanna's seal coat to keep her from leaving. Joanna promises to stay if Annie tells her where it is. Annie finally reveals it's hidden in the lobster pot. On the boat, as Vladik pulls up the pot, Joanna uses the rope to knock him and his accomplice into the water, where they drown. Police arrived soon after, taking Joanna into custody. Syracuse and Annie return home. The next day, Syracuse confesses to the priest, explaining Joanna will be deported unless someone marries her. The priest subtly suggests Syracuse step up. Later, Annie helps Joanna into her wedding dress while Syracuse gets ready in a sharp suit. They head to the boat for the ceremony, watched by the town's fishermen as Syracuse kisses his bride. What are your thoughts on this captivating tale of love, mystery, and redemption? Do you believe in the magic of second chances? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more video updates. See you in the next movie recap. Until then, stay tuned.